when asking my horses to trot, I'm going to point, give a cluck, and then ask them to step up into second. If I point and cluck and they don't step up into second, which is what I call trot, second gear, if they don't step up into the trot, then I may cluck some more. I may show the stick. If they don't trot when I do that, then I may take the stick and I may bang it on the ground behind them to push them forward. I never want to try and lead my horse forward. I always want to be driving my horse from behind, using that rear end motor, like your English cars, to drive that horse from behind. So I'm going to stay in the middle of my wheel. I'm going to point, cluck, good girl. And she stepped right up, good girl. Very nice. Good girl. When I want her to slow down, I'm going to pick my chest up a little bit, slow my feet, and then give a little wiggle. Nice, good girl. If the wiggle hadn't worked, keep walking, Mama. If the wiggle hadn't worked, I would have wiggled bigger. If that didn't work, I would maybe have gotten in front of her and had her change directions. They can't keep going the same speed when they're changing directions. So if I have a horse that won't slow down, we're going to change and change and change and change until they step off at a walk. So you might change 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Once they step off at a walk from that change, leave them alone. Just let them walk on that circle, because that's what you originally wanted them to do. Let them take a breath, let them relax a little bit. That's their reward. That's our way of saying thanks. That's what I wanted. Cool, I love the walk. So we're going to change directions. Walk. See, Star knows when I change my hands, I'm getting ready for a change, so sometimes I have to wait a second. We're going to change directions and ask her to trot off in the other direction. Out. Good girl. Good girl. So I pointed, used my clucker. She stepped up and off into that trot. Again, if she didn't step up and off into the trot, I would have shown her my stick. I would have slapped the stick on the ground, maybe taken a stomp towards her butt to ask her to step up into that trot. If I have a hard time getting them up into that trot, once they do pick up that trot, I leave them alone and let them trot for quite a while. Not a ton of time, because you don't want to over-circle your horse, but I let them trot to establish that trot is what we were looking for. Now that she's trotted a couple of circles, we're going to ask for third gear, which is canter. So when I ask for the canter, I'm going to point again. Now for me, I give a kiss. Nice, good girl. And ask her to step up and out. Now the bigger she gets, the faster she gets, the bigger her circles get. And I let her move out on that circle. You can see I'm to the end of my line. I have knots at the end of my line. Hoop. Shh. Okay, you can see she doesn't want to come down, so I gave her a little cue. Hoop. Little wiggle. There we go. Good girl. So when she was on that canter and at the end of her line, good. I have the knots tied into the end of my line to help me hold on in case they pull. When I asked her to come down, I have a little hoop word that I use to ask them to slow down. She didn't come down from that, so I gave a little wiggle, and then she came down after the second wiggle. Now there I wiggled to show my wiggle, and she came down to the walk. Good girl. And I'm okay with that because I did ask for it, so I can't get mad at her. I can't ask her to trot back right up again because I did wiggle and ask her to come down, and she did exactly what I wanted her to do. So we're going to let her walk for a half a second here. Bless you. Then we're going to change directions. We'll have her canter the other direction. Good girl. So again, when I change directions, right now we're tracking left because her left side is facing the inside of the circle or facing me. And I'm going to change directions, so my right hand is going to put my excess in my stick in my left. I'm going to run my right hand down that line, turn. And she does like to come in and get into my bubble. So I use that stick, I point it towards her shoulder to keep her out of my space. Good girl. Then we're going to ask for the trot. Nice. Good girl. Out. Good girl. And then we're going to ask for a third gear or canter. Good girl. And we'll let her canter a circle or two. And you can see while she's cantering, good girl, my leading hand stays where it is, and I'm using my hand holding my excess line and stick, hoop. Using the hand that's holding my excess line and stick to shorten that lead rope, or excuse me, that lunge line. Walk, hoop, walk, walk. Good. So there you kind of saw the progression a little bit. I asked her to slow down. She didn't. I wiggled a little bigger. She didn't. I wiggled bigger. And then she came down. Now we're going to ask her to stop. So I'm going to wait till she's not at the top of the circle. Bring my hands in, my stick in. Ooh, nope. Now I wanted her to stop. Good girl. But I didn't want her to fully walk into me. I don't mind if they turn. I don't mind if they take a step. But I don't want her to take any more steps than that without my permission. I've had too many horses come in and they get too close. They come in and they think they can push and walk over the top of me. So I want them to stay there until I tell them they can come in. Then I'm going to do a clear hand over hand and ask them to come in. Good girl. Good girl. So when lunging your horse, the big thing is to get comfortable using the equipment, especially if you're going to use a 25-foot lunge line, and then using whatever stick or flag feels comfortable for you. You also want to remember that you need to position yourself by their point of hip. If you get too far forward, you can stop them from moving forward because your body is blocking their forward momentum. And if you get too far back, then they're basically leading you around the circle instead of you being in the center of that wheel and them being on the outside circle. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and have a great day.